Uncle Sugars Magic Circus. There's no anger here. There's no frustration. There's no disgruntled veterans growing angry beards and yelling at the camera. This is a place where we have a good time. We have a lot of fun. We tell good stories. Hey, check this out. I had a fan send me this logo, and he thought it would be great on a coffee mug. This is fan art right here, guys. We are going to work on trying to get these out to people. So if you're interested in getting one of these mugs, let us know.
Yeah.
They're going to be about $20. The shipping will be included. And we're going to sell them on Jesse Jordan's website, which is Accent Coffee.
One of our brothers.
I'll put a link down in the description below. And if you want to get a mug and get some coffee, hit up Jesse Jordan's website, Accent Coffee.
Absolutely.
Cool. You had a letter.
Again, and it's funny because with this Yuletide season, there's enough mail coming through as it is. So now the postman is super pissed. But we got a letter today from a gentleman, his name John Pisa. Dear Sal and Keith, I went to Glassboro State Penal Institute, College, with Keith Kelly and Doug
You just
Pettit.
wanted to say penal.
Yeah, it felt good. But I went to college with these two jackasses, and they both joined the Marine Corps. Doug became a combat engineer. I don't understand, what does an engineer do? Does he drive the train? Does he design the buildings? What does an engineer do in the Marine Corps? So we thought, to answer John's letter, let's bring on a combat engineer, and who better than Doug, John Pisa and Doug and I all went to college together. So,
Excellent idea. In the tradition of the way we do business here on this show, Doug, I'd like to just ask you if you could tell us what made you think about joining the Marine Corps. How did that work out?
When I was about 8 years old, I come from a very traditional Southern family. All the men in the family were in the military, and so I have uncles that were in World War II. I had one that was in the Battle of the Bulge. Dad was a Korean veteran, Army. Cousins in the Air Force. I had one cousin that was in the Air Force Honor Guard. I had a cousin that was Navy. It was air traffic controller on off the coast of Vietnam. So a lot of males in the family went to the military. And I just thought that's something we all do. So I'm about 7 or 8 years old. My dad buys a set of encyclopedias. And I figure, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to look around and see what branch of the service I want to join. Because my dad was obviously prejudiced to the Army. So I get the encyclopedias and I open up to the U.S. Navy. And then my cousin was in the Navy. I open up the U.S. Navy and I go, I don't like that. I look at the ranks and the uniform colors and I go, I don't know.
nobody understands those ranks to this day.
I don't like that. So I had a cousin that was in the Air Force. I said, let me look at the Air Force. So I open up to the Air Force and I look at that and I go, no, that's not good. I don't want to do that. So then I go to the Army, I open up the Army one, and same situation. I don't like this. And I will never forget opening up that book. In fact, this week I just showed my girlfriend that encyclopedia with that page. I open up this encyclopedia. It's got a picture on the left of the 8th and I ceremonial team in front of a building which I now know was Quantico. They won the parade deck of Quantico in front of the building over there, performing or whatever. And on the right side is the rank insignia. It was a blue field with all the rank insignia on there. And it was an epiphany. It was like God struck me. It was like, oh yeah, I want to do that. And I will never forget looking at the Lance Corporal emblem, all right, the picture of the Lance Corporal chevrons, and I went, and I want to be one of those because he's got crossed rifles. I mean, they had Sergeant Major ones in there with rockers and all kinds of stuff. And I go, yeah, that's what I want to be. So all I ever wanted to be was a Marine Lance Corporal. Awesome. And I didn't quite achieve that. But, I got in the Marine Corps and I, retired as a Lieutenant Colonel. So I didn't quite achieve being a Lance Corporal. But that was my introduction to the Marine Corps. And never wavered. Always wanted to be a Marine. Went to Glassboro State and the Semper Fi Club there was pretty active. The Philadelphia Recruiter was active. And went in Philadelphia and went out of Glassboro State. We had, at the time, the largest contingent from one college at OCS.
Yeah,
we had 14 in my class.
For a small state college.
Yeah.
But it was not your average college.
Yeah.
It was basic. It was all anybody really did there was all the sons and daughters of blue collar workers who basically drank and fought and fought.
Yeah.
That's all that happened 25 hours a day. I met this screwball. And he was in the Marine Corps. I said, you can be in the Marine Corps and college at the same time.
It's remarkable how similar that sounds to being in the Marine Corps.
There's that.
I'm not making it up.
Yeah. Here we are.
Yeah, and here we are.
So, Doug, how did you end up as a combat engineer? Did that like fit in with your college, with your degree program, or was it?
No, my degree was radio, TV, communications.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I don't know, as I got in and found out more about the Marine Corps, I figured, combat engineers are basically just grunts with dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
So, I go, this is pretty cool. I don't have to just shoot everybody. I can blow things up too. Which is cool. I like that. And I always had sort of a construction background a little bit, working out of college and things like that. So when I went in, I tried to get in. I tried to do well enough at basic school to get my MOS. And after that, it all went downhill, as it normally does with most of us. So at the time the MOS selections came out, I think it was the top third of my class. I think I graduated like 341 out of 343 or something like that.
So combat engineers, it's what they teach us anyway, is you deal in mobility and counter mobility. So your job is to build things or destroy things that allow for a friendly commander to be able to execute his particular course of action in the fight.
Right. And then also it's a lot of
Clearing.
obstacle clearing, obstacle creation, obstacle clearing, mine warfare. We did, at the time, obviously, when I got in, the Soviet Union was still our big enemy. And so there was a lot of anti-tank mine warfare stuff. We had guys from Guantanamo that were actually in first engineers with us. And a lot of our training was setting up and breaching mines and things like that, particularly anti-tank mines and anti-armor mines at the time. So a lot of that. Yeah.
All right. Now, and I know, when did you retire, Doug? What year?
2003.
2003. So you were still combat engineer?
No, actually,
you went commander routes, right?
Yeah, you went all over the place. I ended up being after engineers. Well, I ended up leaving engineer school at Camp Lejeune and at Courthouse Bay.
Beat up DOD the last time he was there.
But I did that on that.
He beat up
No,
DOD.
it wasn't DOD, but it was another guy. DOD showed up. So
This is a true story.
Yeah.
Second Lieutenant Pettit.
well, we had an end of class party. It was like a lot of fun. With a lot of guys, we had a good time, and we're at the quarters down in the officer quarters. And I'll never forget. I'll tell you another story too about being at Courthouse Bay. There was an officer down there, and I'll never forget that somebody told us he had a glass eye. And you may know who this guy is because I think he's still around in June. He had a red glass eye with a gold Marine Corps emblem.
That's awesome.
I knew a guy like that.
And he would take for office hours, he would take the eye out and put in a black eye with a white skull and crossbones. So
I knew a guy on the West Coast.
we're in the Oak Club at Courthouse Bay, and at that time the engineer school had its own officers club, a little small and about the size of this room. But the CO of the engineer school was a Bible thumper, and he wanted to get rid of it, but he was having a hard time doing that because everybody liked going there. So this guy with the eye was in the Courthouse Bay Officers Club one night, and here's all this stupid lieutenants running around. Somebody says, "Hey, that guy over there's got a glass eye, but it's his left eye. You got to get around the other side of him." So here's all those lieutenants over there trying to get to the left side of the bar so we can lean around and look at this guy's eye. Sure enough, he had a red glass eye with a gold Marine emblem in it. I think he was a Vietnam vet, had shot out in Vietnam and stayed in the service. So that's my Courthouse Bay story. So we finished the school, engineering school, and we're gonna have a party. Now
SOP.
the Bible thumping CO was not there. The XO was in charge of the school at that point. He was on leave or something like that. Well, the XO was this big lieutenant colonel named Colonel Hans, and he was an Irish guy. And as most Irish guys do, as you'll know from this guy right here, he liked to have beverages. So we invited Colonel Hans to the party. Well, we go out and have a party that night, and it's just a great party. In fact, we carried Hans to his quarters down the street at his house. That's how good the party was. One of my other lieutenants, Lieutenant Flynn, was upstairs going to the head, and I hear this commotion, and I go upstairs, and this lieutenant, this other guy, who's in civilian, has got him pinned against the wall, screaming at him about how much noise we're making at the party downstairs. I just felt the need to intervene. And because my friend, Mike Flynn, Lieutenant Flynn, is a smaller guy, and this guy was sort of a big guy, and I intervened, and when I intervened, he started talking to me about how, I was being insubordinate, and I go, "Who are you?" And he told me he was First Lieutenant so-and-so. And I go, "First Lieutenant?" I go, "I'm the Second Lieutenant." And he said something like that. He goes, I'm a first lieutenant, you're a second lieutenant, you have to obey me. And I'm like, so somewhere along the lines, he got punched. And,
I'm shocked.
so they split up. We
Did he get punched? Or were you laughing wildly?
I mean, as you can see, I talk with
Italian boy.
I talk with my hands. And you think I had the Italian in me. And so the next day we graduate, we're all in Charlie's, we graduate, and the captain that was in charge of the class walks over and says, Lieutenant Pettit, you need to come see Colonel. You need to report to headquarters at 1300. Now it's 10 o'clock in the morning, we're all got packed and loaded and ready to go. We're trying to, high out of Dodge. And I go, really? I go, yeah, you're the CO needs to see you. I'm thinking maybe they're going to give me an award or something. Maybe I got a special prize.
Participation award. Any kind of souvenir at all.
maybe I'm a winner or something. They just forgot to give me that. So I get there at 1300 and the captain's out there, and this lieutenant that I'd had the altercation with the night before is out there, and he always carried a briefcase. I'll never forget that. He had one of these jerks with a big leather briefcase. So I see him going in front of me, and the captain has me come in the office. He goes, Lieutenant, I forget his name, it was Putzikowski or something like that. He goes, he's preferring charges against you. So I tell my guys in the motorcycle club right now, I says, I'm one of the only officers you've ever known that's had 5 charges of the UCMJ against me. It's drunken quarters, drunken disorderly, insubordination, conduct unbecoming, striking a senior officer. So Potowski goes in, and I go, oh crap, I guess I'm in pretty good trouble. He goes, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. But luckily, the Bible thumping colonel wasn't there, because if the Bible thumping colonel would have been there, I would probably have made that Lance Corporal. But fortunately, Colonel Grunts was the convening authority that day. So the Potowski's in the office with him about an hour, and when Potowski comes out, he has the color of that stripe right there. He is just red. He's furious.
Wow.
And he comes blowing past me and goes out the door, and I'm like, I don't know what by me. I went, Lieutenant Potowski, how you doing? And he just blows by me. So I go in, and the captain comes out and says, okay, you gotta go report to Colonel. So I go in, and Sergeant Major standing there. And I go in, and now I'm a little shaken. I go, Lieutenant Pettit, what's our reporting order? Lieutenant Pettit, he goes, I would see there's an altercation last night in the barracks. Lieutenant Putzikowski here wants to prefer charges against you. I have 5 charges. He says, I'm going to read you the charges. He reads me the charges. And he goes, now, because I can let this go 3 ways. He goes, I can dismiss this completely. I can give you a letter of reprimand. I can give you counseling. Or you can go to court martial. And he looks to the left, and he looks to the right, and he goes, consider this counseling. What the hell are you doing? And I was sure he was with my friend over, and he goes, yeah, you can't be beat up a first lieutenant. I go, but I was a lieutenant. I go, we're all lieutenants. He goes, no. Technically, he outrans you. You have to obey. So I'm just going to consider this counseling, because you guys do a hell of a party last night. This was a great time. A great time. Yes, sir, we did. He goes, by the way, where are you going on your first duty station? San Diego. Well, listen, here's the name of a bar. Go to this bar, tell him you know me down there. There's a chaplain out there. You got to look him up too. He writes down the name of the bar, this chaplain's name on a piece of paper, hands it to me, shakes my hand, and says, "Good luck." Out the door I go. Now I know why Potowski was so pissed. Now, to add on to this story, I get out to Lejeune. I go out to Lejeune. I'm out there. I have 30 days of travel. I go to Pendleton. And I get 30 days, so I go all over the country. I'm visiting family and friends. I was in New Jersey the day they caught Son of Sam in New York.
Oh, wow.
I was in Memphis the day Elvis died. That year was 77.
You just Forrest Gump.
Yeah. I said, I'm going to be in California when it falls off the earth. So I get to California. The colonel looks at my record. Ed lives there. Never forget. In fact, his name is on a brick at the museum right now. I just saw it the other day. He looks at it. He goes, "Tell Betty, because I see you have some heavy equipment experience." Yes, sir. He goes, "Well, our heavy equipment officer is an LDO, limited duty officer, who's retiring in about a month and a half." He goes, "You want a heavy equipment billet?" "Yes, sir. I'd be fine with that." "Oh, he's retiring at the end of the year." He goes, "You want a heavy equipment billet?" I go, "Yes, sir." He goes, "Well, there's a heavy equipment school starting at Camp Lejeune like in a week. Can you get back there?" Yes, sir, I sure can. I sure can, sir. I didn't know anything about unpack my stuff. I put my stuff in the quarters, picked what I needed, turned around and headed back to Lejeune, and went to engineer school, and then went into the letter companies in the engineer battalion for about 6 months, and then transitioned over to be the heavy equipment officer, and stayed there and loved that. But when I got back to Lejeune, the first instructor in the heavy equipment class, officers class, was the gunny that was the staff duty the night of my incident. He told me, he goes, well, I walked in and saw you. He goes, at that time I was still pretty big from lifting and things like that. He goes, I don't know what we're gonna do with this guy. The only thing we can do with him is handcuff him to a tree and leave him for the night. So we got along really good, and had a great time at the school, and got back out to Pelleton, and went to the first engineer battalion. So
I got one.
one more little add to this story.
Yeah.
I go to command and amphibious warfare school 6 years later, whatever, like 8 years later. And on the first night of amphibious warfare school, they sent all the officers together to meet the other officers.
Yeah.
Well, sitting at my table was Lieutenant Pinikowski. And I saw his nameplate across the thing there, and I went, oh, Lieutenant Pinikowski, how you doing? And he gets his plate and his name tag and his drink, and he gets up and he moves it.
That's awesome. That's a perfect. That's a cherry on the top.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
OAF 1.
Mm-hmm.
I was with Task Force Tarawa, right? Crossing LD and all that.
Yeah.
We get up the second. It was like the second night. The first night we camped next to an artillery unit, and all night we just watched rockets and artillery.
They're noisy. They're noisy. You can't get this.
It was a magnificent sight.
It really
Watching
is.
8 Hackers go down range like all night long was just magnificent. Second night, we're outside of Jalapa, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we set up a base camp at the headquarters on for Task Force Starwood. And nobody was digging holes or anything. Like they just left all the machine guns and all the heavy weapons up on the trucks, and they were just kind of made a circle, and that's kind of, we were there for a couple of days like that.
Usually you move, if you're moving every day, I get it.
Right, but then we were there. We kind of set up camp there for a while.
Yeah.
It seemed like nobody knew what the hell they were doing. And OAF 1, man, there was trucks going just horizon to horizon down the roads. Everybody was just rolling. You know? Yeah. And this Army heavy like bulldozer got the flatbed. The flatbed got broken down or whatever. So these guys were like, "Hey, can we come hang out with you while we wait for the maintenance guys to come?" Sure. Like, hey, does that thing work? Like, yeah. Like, you mind building us some berms? So we got berms in the first location I was at OAF 1 because we just happened to run into an Army unit that had a broken hit.
Yeah.
You know, heavy equipment transport broke down, and we're like, hey,
that's why I love
they build this
engineers.
berm.
They build shit all the time. The first time, my brother's a combat engineer. Him and Doug, don't even get me started, those two idiots drinking together. But we were somewhere, 29 miles or some shit. And, you get set in, we're going to do morning attack, and it's that night time. These guys come by, and the guy in the back goes, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" Digging in. You want us to do it for you? Suppose we're a funny hat? Yes, we want you to do it. These guys think machine gun picks, mortar picks. What else you dudes need?
Our guys love to dig stuff.
Yeah.
And they especially like it when you put them on a helicopter and lift their bulldozer up and take it somewhere, and then let them dig there. And do like that.
Who doesn't like that? 53 can pick that.
Yeah. It's just amazing shit.
Picks up the smaller dozer. When I was in, we were using case 450s, and it would pick a smaller dozer up. In fact, the leather company, we picked a dozer up and took it up to at 29 Palms. Up on the Chocolate Mountains up there, we were going to set in some artillery positions for them. So those helicopter 53 comes down, picks up the 450, takes it up. My operators were just, it was like playing
helicopter ride.
Yeah, we got a helicopter ride and we got to dig on the mountains. Well, and we were building a mobile bunker. We were trying to work with, that was the very beginning of the Marine Corps' effort to go maneuver warfare and move fast and things like that. So they wanted us to dig this test bunker. They wanted us to create this bunker that they could pick up, and then they would take the engineers up. We would dig the hole, and this bunker would go and drop it in. Just drop it in, and then you put the beams over the top, sandbag it, you'd be good to go. So we build this thing out in the middle of 29 Palms. It's got angled walls on it. It's got a door and things like that. 53 comes in to pick it up. He picks it up. He gets it about 150 feet in the air. He's rising, going out, and the thing starts to spin on him, and it's just spinning around like a top, and he tickles a load, and we had kindling for weeks. That thing fell from about 500 feet, hit the ground out there, and just exploded.
It was all wood.
It was wood bunker. So that was the effort.
You know, it's funny because all these stories have come flooding back. Oh, by the way, did we tell our viewers it's New Year's Day?
Oh, no, this is
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
So Happy New Year, and we're still drinking. Just so you know. But we're at my house last night fooling around. So Desert Storm comes. So I left on. I sent 2 companies down range. 15 August, 1 September. I go down range. Then Numbnuts. He had just transitioned to the reserves at the time. So Doug's writing me letters. He moved Christy and the kids. Got all my stuff in storage. Got Christy and the kids back to her parents' house. He says, I get a box. It's half the size of this table. And it's from him. And I'm like, I don't even know if I want to open this. And Bill Coffey, so Major Coffey, who I was talking to last night, he was like, what is that? I said, it's from Doug. He goes, what is it? I'm afraid to open it. I open it up. I'm not making this up. It's a hat this big, a straw hat. Goes away, I want some fair skin.
Yeah.
And it says San Diego on it.
Oh, my God.
So I'm walking around the AO. Colonel Kershaw's laughing his ass off. He goes,
That's awesome.
Keith, where'd you get that goddamn hat? Doug. So he's not in country yet. So that was my area. It's like Max. I'm walking around today with this stupid sun hat. Nobody gives a shit. We're in his recon. You're in your own compound. Nobody cares. Then the next letter I get from him is that I'm going to be in country soon. Say, Colonel Kershaw, I got to run down. Me and Bill Coffey can take a ride like 2 hours south because we're the engineers from town. But he was with LAR.
It was LAB at that point.
Yeah, LAB.
Yeah.
So I can scream down there. And I can't. It's the desert.
Yeah.
There's people there. There's thousands of people there. So we finally find a unit. I'm like, yeah. We know where Major Pettit's at. Major Pettit. Yeah, sir, he's probably over in the tent over there. I go in. Middle of the afternoon.
Take that. It's everything out of the way.
I kicked the guy in the thing. I got my hat. Didn't wake him
That
up.
was up.
His colonel was the biggest jerk off on the planet.
Oh,
And so here I
there
am.
seems to be a pattern.
Yeah. So I got this stupid hat on. And Doug's like, we gotta get out of here. I'm in enough trouble as it is. I'm like, what'd you do now? He goes, don't ask.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome to the war, dude. We had some adventures.
And it's weird, people think, I don't know, if you watch TV and the movies and stuff, you just don't really realize how it actually works in the world, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's not all explosions and people yelling, me! Mostly what I did during OF1 was try to trade shit so that I could trade other shit for other shit.
Yeah,
You know, a lot of times trying to get like air pals for people.
Yeah.
It's just like,
That's
weird.
it's very serendipitous.
That's what engineers are. We're scroungers. We're major
And
scroungers.
it's almost like
Yeah.
you're like a pack rat, you're like a hoarder.
Uh-huh.
Like, oh, get those pallets. Oh, they're broken. I don't care. Put them in my
Yeah.
tent.
Oh, and the problem is it carries into later life.
my
Sal
God.
and I at work, we left, we walked by the dumpster, we think there's anything good in there?
I mean, even
We're
now,
retired for 20 years, cut it out.
this is where we work now. We're always like, hey, we'll get a pile of stuff over there. What's in there?
Well, John Pasulo was the engineer officer at Quantico. He was a famous engineer, and he was the instructor at Quantico when I was there. And if he needed something, he would, and I worked for him for about 6 weeks after I got to TPS before my first class, and he'd just go, come on, let's go. We're going, just get in the truck. We'd get in the 5-ton, and he would drive it. He'd get out on US 1, we'd go up to Fort Belvoir, they shine him through the gate. He goes in the gate, he starts scratching. He goes, come on, we're going to find something our Army's not using. And we would just go around, we'd go around Fort Belvoir and find scrap metal, wood, and stuff like that. And he loaded a 5-ton and then drive it back to Quantico. They have more stuff up here they're not using than we do.
So,
And they won't miss it.
Yeah, they won't, yeah.
It's hilarious.
sometimes it is.
Sometimes I had kids. So when I was a staff sergeant, I did a lot of weird stuff in the Marine Corps. One of my tours, a couple of my tours, I was a Harrier mechanic, and on a Harrier, when they take the guns off, they have these like false guns that they put up because they need the way the aerodynamics on the airplane works. They need them, so they call them straights. It's just a big flat fin that sticks out.
I mean, the plane won't fly properly without the fake gun.
Yeah, because the way, since we're in, this is not what I intended to talk about. When the engines rotate down,
Yeah.
the Harrier can hover. It creates a box underneath. There's a piece in the front and the back that come down and actually creates like a box underneath it. And the air, as it's rotating down, kind of sits on that. Well, the strakes are serialized components.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
oh yeah, it's a.
Now, as soon as
It's
he
gotta
said
be.
that, I know there's gonna be a funny end to the
Well,
story.
it's a short story. I was working night
Where
crew.
the strike ended up is what I'm.
I was a staff sergeant. They pulled the gun off one of the airplanes, and we had one strake, we didn't have the other strake. I told my guys, like, look, nobody's going home. I don't give a shit what you do.
Yeah.
I don't care who has to fucking marry somebody. Get me a fucking straight, because we're not going home until the shit's fixed. Well, they just went and stole it from another squad. The plane was all set up and ready to go, and it was on the flight schedule for the next day. But then the investigations.
Yeah.
And that's when the fight started.
That's when the fight started.
That's when the fight started.
They didn't bother to tell me that it wasn't a straight, that they found the right straight. It was that they got a straight. That's what it said. Do what we're going to do. Marines are by nature kind of the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scroungers, we're scroungers.
Yeah, we're
we
being that
want. No.
It's like, hey, look, what's that? I don't know, let's take it.
Yeah, exactly.
I had a gun, the same thing, I said, we were gonna go to Kuwait City, and there was no water, we knew there was no running water, so I want you to find everything you find in the whole water. I sent him on forwards every night. He'd come in the morning driving Russian trucks, they were stealing their Mercedes cars. He was a reserve guy that attached to the First Street Gun Battalion. And he was a cop in LA, he didn't steal anything. So we thought, until he got caught stealing a water buffalo from the Army. So he goes in the next morning, he goes, I might be in a bit of trouble. He goes, cops are terrible liars, did you know that? I'm like, no, he goes, apparently I am, because they caught me like stealing this. So, all right, we got it sorted out. Meanwhile, I had like 20 goddamn Russian trucks, 15 Mercedes cars, and he'd been stealing every night, bringing it into the compound in the morning. We were borrowing things.
You can't make that stuff up, Bill. I had a whole like scheme going. My wife will tell you. I was writing letters about it. Like, I was trading stuff up, so I was getting better and better stuff.
Yeah.
And over the course of the war, by the time I get to the end of the war, I was able to get like pretty expensive crap. That whole camera kit by the end of it.
Nice.
Yeah. I had a whole, a whole camera kit, camera case and everything. Oops. D30 cameras. Anyway. So, yeah, I don't know.
Gus ended up in the reserve, so.
But part of that, I think, sorry,
No,
cut you
yeah.
off, but I think part of that is the fact that of the services, we kind of have the smallest budget.
We do.
Oh, yeah.
And we literally
Per
are,
capita, the small.
yeah, we literally are always kind of making do with some hand-me-down crap or something we can make. You gotta be really industrious, and that's kind of part of the equation of being in the Marine Corps too, is like,
Yeah.
Your intellect changes, you become like really crafty in how you can,
Well, that's why I love having these guys around, because they would do stuff for us, they would make things. And we made friends, and when I told Colonel Crushers, my buddy Doug's just come in, he's like, we'll go down there and find him. He's with that LAR now, he's not an engineer anymore, so yeah, it doesn't matter. Because it's all about making those contacts. And so, you get hooked up with those guys. I mean, at one point, Bill Coffey get a hold of the Navy Seabees, who are combat engineers, and make us have contact chairs. So I'm sitting in front of my chair, and then I have a contact chair, this stupid hat that Doug gave me.
Hell of a way. Yeah.
That's freaking hilarious.
So,
So, you were trying to transition to the reserve.
yeah, so tell us how that happened.
I got out in '80, in January of '80. And really I got out because I was sick of the Marine Corps. I'd had it. I was done with it. We were still had a lot of the leftover Vietnam guys in. We had a lot of guys that were given choices by judges to either go into service or go to jail. So we had a lot of criminals in the military. And it was bad. This is pre-high school diploma time.
Pre-all volunteer.
Yeah, pre-all volunteer, stuff like that. It's a lot of the draft guys left over. And I was sick of it, done it. I was the XO at Engineer Support Company at the time. In August, September, we got an Almar that said, from Marine Corps that said, if you have, we're changing. We realize that we have a problem. I mean, we were having fights at Camp Pendleton between the Ku Klux Klan and the Black Panthers. I mean, it was that kind of. I actually fired a round, a 45 round, through the roof of the E Club at Christian Engineer, Christian English up there. San Mateo. Because we had a fight one night, we broke it up. I was an officer of the day, broke it up. Hour later, they're fighting again. I walk in, we can't get the fight stopped. Pulled 45 out, put it out the roof. I said, next time I fire this gun, it's going into somebody. And we shut the E-plug down. At that point, they stopped fighting. You know, so, and you couldn't do that today. You know, and then back in that day, I went to my colonel the next morning and he says, you shot a round off last night? Yes, sir. He goes, what happened? I told him, he goes, okay. Make sure it's in the record. Yes, sir. So, but the Armour came down and said, if you have, we're changing. We're gonna make it so that to get in the Marine Corps, you have to have high school diploma. You can't be a criminal. If you have anybody in the Marine Corps right now that you consider to be a criminal, we are gonna give you the opportunity to administratively discharge them with an under the honorable discharge in 48 hours.
Wow.
Here's the criteria, and it was, they had to have 3 NJPs in a 90-day period, or something, other major crimes like that.
Habitual.
So,
Yeah.
my first sergeant was a big tall Texan guy, and I'll never forget, he was a Vietnam veteran. The whole side of his body had black BBs on it, and he had a claymore turned around on him and fired on him in Vietnam, and the BBs would eventually surface. And so once a year, he would take a couple of days of leave and go to the Naval Hospital, and they would take the BBs out that were closest to the surface, and he'd be out for a few days, and then he'd be back, tough as nails, right? Tough guy. So he's texting, walks in, he says, Colonel, this is Captain, he goes, I got this Armour here. Why don't you look at it and tell me what you think it means? And I look at it and I go, what do you think it means? And he says, I think we get rid of our shipyards. I think that's what it means too. So this was a Thursday night, so he and I stayed that night and went through all the records. And we said, let's pick 12. We're going to pick 12. Because it was a support company. We had 400 people, 500 people in the company. We had plenty of people that were falling into this opportunity. And basically, we were paying criminals. We had criminals being paid every 2 weeks at that point. So the next morning, we're having a battalion run. I said, don't, just get the reaction team, the guard reaction force ready to go. Have them stand outside the hatch. Tell them what we're going to do. Tell them, as we dismiss them, they're going to have 2 guards take the Marine to his quarters and pack his stuff. Don't tell them anything other than that. And so we went on the battalion, we made these jokers run first. So then we bring him back to the run. He goes out in front of the company, he says, so-and-so, some 12-man report to the XO's office immediately. So I got them lined up outside the door. The first one comes in. I read in the Armour. I go, you are a candidate for this, and we are administratively discharging you today. You have an hour to go to your room. There's 2 guards outside the door. They will escort you to your quarters. You're going to pack your trash in an hour. You're going to be on that sidewalk out there waiting for the van to come and take you to steps. The first kid goes, you can't do that. And Sergeant first behind him goes, oh yeah, he can. And we got rid of 12. And the Marine Corps made a complete change at that point. But I wasn't aware of that because by now I had my paperwork in to get out and go. So I get out in 80. In 85, I am coaching football in San Diego. And high school, I've coached my whole life. And coaching football, I go to dinner at this kid's house for Thanksgiving, and his dad was a lieutenant colonel in reserves. And he finds out about my Marine Corps background. He goes, why aren't you still in the Marine Corps? Why aren't you in the reserves? And I said, well, I told him the story. He goes, it's not like that anymore. He goes, it's completely different. Yeah. He goes, I'm in an MTU, mobilization training unit down in Cornell. Why don't you come down one of our drills? I don't know. He goes, just come down. You'll like it. Well, the CO of that unit was Mike Neal, who was a Navy Crossman, Vietnam, very dynamic guy. And I went down and I sort of sat in and watched what they were doing. And I said, you know what? I want to get back there. How do I get back there? How do I join the club? And I got back in, and that was in 85, and I stayed till 2003. I ended up being a plank holder in the LAV battalion that was stood up at Camp Pendleton. The 4th LAV stood up at Camp Pendleton. I ended up being in that. The CO of that unit was Colonel Tim Anderson, great guy, tactics instructor at LAPD. And I couldn't get him to answer my phone call. I went twice to the reserve up there trying to get into the unit. I knew that they had 1 slot for an engineer officer in their 3. And he didn't call me back. So finally I called his house one night, and his wife answers, and I tell her, I'm calling again, and she goes, I'm sorry, he's not here. He's, it's not. I said, I'll tell you what you do. You tell him if he doesn't call me back, and at this time, I'm going to come to Los Angeles, and I'm going to reach in and take his heart out and show it to him before he dies. She goes, all right, I'll tell him. An hour hour later, I get a phone call. Who the hell are you? Sir, I'm a Major Pettit sometime. I want to join up. He goes, oh, you come up Saturday and see me. I'll talk to you then. And so I joined up. And we were great friends, great guy, and ended up being a company commander. Yeah. So, but the reserves, it's once a month. They say it's once a month, but it's once a month on the weekends, and then you go for your ATV in the summer. I was with LAVs when we got activated, first reserve activation since the Korean War, and got activated for Desert Storm. And I took 365 H&S Company Marines to Camp Lejeune, joined up with H&S from 2nd LAI. I had 650 Marines in my company, and took everybody overseas. But Marines is a great the reserves is a great opportunity to really serve both ways, And I did various times of active duty around the way too, but it was really a good opportunity to serve in both the civilian side and be in the
And it's a way to stay connected to the Marine Corps too, because when I got out, after my first enlistment, I was only out for about 6 or 7 months, but when I came right back in, I did not transition well to the civilian life.
Who does?
My first time. But while I was out, I went up to Garden City, New York. I was living up in New York, and I was at the reserve station up there, Garden City, and it was a great way to stay kind of connected to things.
Yeah.
And it's one of the reasons why, because at that time when I got out, they weren't letting people back in.
Mm-mm.
It was really tough
back
to
and
get
forth.
back in.
Yeah.
At that particular time, like you would come back in, no matter what rank you were, you come back as Lance Corporal.
Yep.
Doesn't matter if you were out, 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, because I remained connected to the reserves, I kind of bypassed that. And when I did decide to come back on active duty, I was able to keep all my rank. It was kind of great.
Well, I tell people that the Marines I took to Desert Storm in 1990 were a significantly improved quality of person than what I left in 1980 when I left the Marine Corps. I mean, we had but the quality of young people that went to Desert Storm with us was just.
Well, if you think about that, my first platoon in 1979, Grunt platoon rated 42 cats.
Yeah.
I had 15 that I could put on the deck.
Yeah.
I had about 25 on paper. Criminals out the ass.
Yeah.
If you were the OD and didn't have some sort of dope bust or fight, it meant you didn't walk around the area.
Right.
It was a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
But it changed, and then one of the reasons I went, we talk about movement, it forced me into recon. I'm like, I wanted to go recon anyway, but I thought those cats are not doing this
They
bullshit.
got their shit together.
They had their shit together.
I came in '85, so I'm just was at the beginning of what you're talking about, right? I did not have a high school diploma. I was but there was like 2 or 3 slots per region or something.
Yeah,
for
right.
high school.
That's exactly what it was. Because I was on recruiting duty, and what happened was, and there's 4 there's actually 5. So there's Cat 4, when you're done as a post, Cat 3, Cat 3 Alpha and Bravo it was, and then Cat 2 and Cat 1. Cat 1 was really a kid. And without a high school diploma, you were by exception.
Yeah.
Which means, what had to happen is your parents murdered each other in front of you in the living room on Christmas morning, and then the house burned down, and you saved a puppy and a baby.
That was interesting.
And all this happened the same, and then you might get in without a high school diploma. It's very difficult because they had changed. Look, we're watching TV.
Yeah, my email came up for some reason. So, yeah, it was hard. It was tough to get.
To get back in. Yeah.
So it goes to what Doug's saying. It's like they definitely made a change. And I
Thank
remember when
God.
I first got there, the guys who were telling me about the old days were telling me things like, oh yeah, they used to, guys would always have an ounce on them. People would go on break and go smoke a joint, get hammered, and then come back to work. Like, are you kidding me? How could you? Like, I didn't even.
It didn't register.
Because by the time I came in, it was a zero tolerance policy on drugs.
Well, they moved to the volunteer force. Guys were proud about being there. They were where they wanted to be.
That changed everything. I really think
it really did. People that question it, I'd say it was the greatest thing we ever did in the military.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's interesting. Interesting to me because Keith and I, we still work around active duty Marines all the time, and we say it all the time. You hear the staff NCOs complaining that things are getting worse and worse and worse, and the quality of these guys is terrible, and they're horrible, but you know, when you really look at the timeline, the
Yeah.
history, it's not true.
Yeah.
The guys that I see on active duty today, we say it all the time, they're spacemen
Yeah.
compared to what we were, man. They're brighter, they're more intelligent, they're highly educated, you know,
The things they have, the support they have for these guys, we were talking about this last night, about acupuncture and cupping and shrinks on staff and all this other crazy shit. And Sal and I laugh at this, who Sal's an old recon guy, so and we thought we were spacemen at the time.
yeah,
Now we look
were
at,
spacemen at the time.
yeah.
Well,
Now we look at these guys and they are spacemen, but they can do that because they're recruiting a very intelligent group of guys.
my PBS class had a reunion about 2 or 3 years ago at Quantico. And as part of the deal, they took us and showed us how to, O'Bannon Hall and, all the things out there at TBS. But they took us on a tour of the area. They showed us the close combat, we went into the close combat headquarters out there. And then the kinesiology lab, the lab down there where they're developing stuff for, they're developing the walking,
Exoskeleton.
stuff,
Yeah.
and the stuff that are gonna carry combat loads and stuff like that, and temperature variations and stuff like that. It's amazing what they're doing. There was a Quonset about,
Yeah.
there was a Quonset up with a gunnery sergeant and screaming at somebody about canteen cups. We were there. Now they're doing all this scientific stuff.
I had you had this too, I had a shelter hat, right?
Yeah.
To have a tent, you and your buddy both had half a tent.
Right.
And you had to put them together,
Right.
and then you had a tent.
Yeah.
And you had a candle inside and it would warm you up.
Right.
And
If you had a shelter hat, if you had a poncho liner, you were a big deal. You were a big deal with a poncho liner.
Sadly.
So it's,
So I tell people, I look at, I'm probably the most proud of the Reserve Marines that I took to Desert Storm because we got activated on Sunday of Thanksgiving week. We got notified on Sunday of Thanksgiving week that we were getting activated, and we needed to be standing on the deck ready to go next Saturday morning for all our check-ins and everything like that. So on Thanksgiving week of 1990, 365 young people stopped their lives. There were kids, and I get choked up talking about it because I'm so proud of them. But they stopped their lives. They got out of apartment leases. They stopped college courses. They put their stuff in storage. They made I have one guy that owned a farm, and he had to make arrangements in like 3 days to have somebody come and take over the farm for him because he was leaving. And on Saturday morning, every single one of my Marines was standing there in uniform, ready to go, including the pregnant females who were in the reserves, and they couldn't go and they didn't go, but they were there ready. And to me, don't tell me about all volunteer force doesn't work, because that group of young people that day showed me that this thing does work, and we went and we accomplished our mission. And but that week to me was, here I am, I'm a single guy, I'm getting ready to go, whatever like that. But there were guys with families, they went to college, they were businessmen and things like that. And every single one of them reported in, and we got to look through on. So that was a different quality person than we had in 1981.
Well, Doug, thanks for coming out. We
Thanks for having me.
appreciate hanging out with us.
Yeah, thank you. So
And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, my friend. There's one other thing. So on another show, we'll talk about why Doug's nickname is Big D.
Okay.
He got that at my wedding.
Well, now you gotta tell me.
No, it takes.
Oh, that's another 30 minutes.
Yeah.
We'll have you back, Doug.
Yeah. The balloon king showed up.
The Balloon King.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
also known as Balloon King. That's it. Lansing, Michigan will never be the same.
Great time.